Thank you for watching Bible Break. I'm Joel.
And I'm Melissa.
And today we're going to be soaping Matthew 6:6. And it says, "But when you pray, go into your room and shut the door and pray to your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you." Okay? And so we're going to be soaping today, which is writing the scripture, which I have done. We're also going to be reading the observations we've written, the applications, and prayers. So something I suggested last week was that when we do your soap, when you read a scripture, you see I've only done one scripture, Matthew 6:6. It's suggested that you read the other scriptures around it and maybe even the chapters before and after. And I actually read Matthew 5 and 7. And really it puts this scripture into a great context because Jesus is speaking primarily to the Jewish people who are following around as he's speaking. And in Matthew 5 specifically, he gives them the Beatitude, saying, "Blessed is the one who's poor in spirit. Blessed who's the one who's meek." He even talks about blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake. What he's doing is he's really kind of flipping the culture a little bit. He's being countercultural. He's talking about, yeah, you've heard them say an eye for an eye. He says, no, but turn the other cheek. I mean, he's really changing things and turning everything upside down and flipping it on his head. And when we find him talking in Matthew 6 about praying in secret, he's specifically talking about a lot of the Jewish people and religious leaders were doing things to be seen, so they could be seen like they were holy and pious. And so actually before that, he talks about people who give and make sure everybody knows that they're giving. And he also talks about people who pray in the streets and are all loud because they're trying to draw a crowd. So really what this is the observation I had is that Jesus is saying, hey, you need to check your heart when it comes to your relationship with God. You really have to be pure in heart. You have to be meek. You have to be poor in spirit. You have to be very humble about your relationship with God. Yes, there's a time and place where you may pray in public. People who come together, gather around a flagpole and pray. There's nothing wrong with that. People who pray at a courtyard, at a school or a university. Nothing wrong with it. There are people who, give online and you know who's giving. So it's not really about, people giving in public, other people to see. It's about your heart. It's about your heart being in the right place when you are sharing, your relationship with God. Okay? So we really have to recognize, what is the motivation? Is the motivation about me getting the glory, or is the motivation about God getting the glory? And that's what he's talking about. The things that you do in secret, God will reward you openly. Those things that you are really focusing on, really God getting the glory, you will be rewarded openly. So that's my observation, that he's talking about our heart and our relationship with God and how we're to be humble. Now, the application for me specifically is that I will be very mindful about my heart. I will pay attention to the things that I do. Am I doing this so that I get the credit, so that I get the glory, or is this about God getting the glory? So just being focused on making sure the things that I do gives God the glory and does not put the focus on me. Okay. Now my prayer is that God, I surrender all that I am to you. Help me live a life that glorifies you. For God, it's not about me, it is about you. Amen.
Amen. So we already know the scripture. So my observation is, don't pray for attention or for others to see how saved you are.
Mm-hmm.
So think about your intimate time with God in prayer that you're praying about. It could be something that maybe someone asks you to pray about for them. You wouldn't pray out loud and putting their business all out in the street, or praying about your own situation. Like, you want to do that in secret. You want to do that, in your quiet time with God, that personal relationship that's being cultivated between you and God, you don't want to be out in the open doing that. You know, again, you know, having a sign, having that be a sign of, you know, I'm so holy, I'm so righteous, look at me, you know, I'm praying about these things, and, you know, I'm connecting to God, and I want you to know how I'm connecting to God and that I'm connected to God. Again, reiterating what Joel said, you know, it's okay to do that in like a prayer service or church or a Bible study or anytime that it's called for us to pray in public. But things that are intimate and things that need to be kept between you and God needs to be done in secret. So application, pray in secret, pray to God in your quiet time. Like I said, unless at a service or when it's appropriate. My prayer is, Lord, thank you for our quiet time where I can come boldly and honest and not worry about what others think.
Amen. That's a really good prayer. Well, yeah, so that was really, really good. You know, if you haven't yet, be sure to share your SOAP in the comments or direct message, or even comment on what we said. You may, you know, be able to expound on it, or you may have questions about what we said. We really would like for you to kind of engage with this so we can kind of be able to flesh this out and talk about this and grow together. And so, with that in mind, I'm going to assign our SOAP for next week. We're actually going to expand it a little bit more and actually kind of do what I did to be introduced to SOAPing. And really what we're going to do is I'm going to assign that, you know, we all read Ephesians 2 and then choose a scripture or a block of scriptures that you would like to SOAP. It could be, you know, Ephesians 2:8, just throwing one out there. Or it could be Ephesians 2:8 through 12. But find a scripture or a block of scriptures in Ephesians 2 that really jump out to you, and go ahead and write the scripture, write the observation, application, and prayer. And as soon as you're done with that, of course, you can actually direct message us or comment your SOAP for your scripture or scriptures for Ephesians 2. Anything you want to add?
No.
Okay. Now, if you have some scriptures that you'd like for us to SOAP, or you have some ideas for something we could be studying together, definitely comment that as well. We welcome all suggestions and all comments. Thank you for watching Bible Break. I'm Joel.
I'm Melissa.
Be blessed.